In this side-splitting storyline, Steve inquires, "So, what about that wedding ring? Have you finished your lunch yet?" "Not finished lunch?" Emily must ignore David, meant to eat a full meal. And that's all part of Steve's master plan to get David to make a firm decision right after lunch outside Emily's office. Clearly, David was hurt. Anger took over, and he chose to destroy Emily's painting. David reminded himself, money's everything. She received a call from Emily, who felt like they'd been got. David reassured her, "Don't overthink, chill out, everything will be just fine." That evening, Emily got ready to change and take a bath. Meanwhile, Steve headed out for some poker night, grabbing his wife's keys. David, seeing his chance, snuck into. Everything went as planned. Emily filled a warm bath with countless bubbles. David proceeded step by step. He tiptoed upstairs. Steve created his alibi. David took out the key. Emily savored her bubble bath. 10 o'clock. The plan officially kicked off. Steve dialed the home phone and waited. Then, finally, his wife answered the call, but silence was all that greeted her. Then chaos suddenly erupted. After hearing the racket, Steve hung up, feeling pretty sure he'd succeed on his way home. He tossed aside his internal phone, entered the house like any other day, but the plan went south. His wife was in subtitle. She just called 911, and David was dead. Emily grabbed a meat thermometer amid the fight at 10. She delivered a killer comeback. While Steve knew the cops were on their way. He immediately made the lock seam pried open and searched the body's clothes for the key. Subtitle, he put the key back in his wife's pouch. When police arrived, it was a burglary, and Emily acted in self-defense. The detective noticed something odd. She asked, "Why so many footprints?" Steve replied, "She just wanted to see if the intruder was still breathing." The cops lifted the mask, and Steve's jaw dropped. It was Emily was justified in defending herself, but there was still a casualty, so she had to make a lineup at the station. The body was carted away. Meanwhile, her friend, artist David, was nearby. At home, he made Emily's painting a riot of colors. Though not a saint, they shared a past. Steve took Emily to her parents. Gazing at the vine-covered mansion, Emily seemed to hatch a little plan. Steve explained to his mother-in-law that the police needed her signature and took off. But just as he left, Emily dialed David's number. He was her true Prince Charming. Apparently, Steve's plans backfired. He met David on a boat on the river, only to realize the victim was one of a. Steve hired David as he dared not act, yet David couldn't do it either. It flopped. There was no way they could act again for now, so Steve told her to wait for updates. That night, during a mother-daughter chat, Emily declared she was done with Steve. This marriage was a happiness killer, and she wanted to crash at her friend's place for a while. Bad news strikes again. His shares would be fully recalled, and Steve's bankruptcy looms. Emily got home first, but her keys didn't work. Then she went to the property office for a spare key. As memories of that night flooded back, she felt a chill. Just then, her husband strolled in, and they exchanged a few brief words. Emily reached her friend's home, sure Steve knew her affair with David, and sought revenge. Her close female friend exclaimed, "No, no, no. Steve's rolling in dough now, and your money should really be cashing in." Emily's eyes sharpened and no contract signed. If she died, Steve would inherit a fortune. Suddenly, she used her boss connection to reach a supervisor and learned her husband's secret. Her husband had jumped into foreign bonds, but there was a snag. The dealing bank hoped for a miracle, but hope seemed slim. She'd crack soon. Emily realized Steve had ample motive to harm her. She came to the precinct, told the detective of her husband's losses, a possible motive for murder. The detectives found many red flags, tracing a call at 10 p.m. on the night Emily was attacked. That evidence was a perfect alibi, but breaking the case apart and putting it back together revealed gaps, like a jigsaw puzzle missing key piece. The deceased had a wallet loaded with cash, an ID, and even a membership card, but not a single key in sight. Meanwhile, Steve was troubled, fretting over 40 million. Then he got a call with silence on the other end. On the other end, a recording played. It was David, recording Steve's plan details. The detective provided victim info. Lonnie, just freed from state prison. Emily read the report and recalled the killer's address. Steve sought David simply to blackmail him with the tape for the remaining 400. Meanwhile, Emily found the killer's address and inserted her key into the lock miraculously. It opened. As the tension mounted, here's a great tip. Want to know real car sales figures? Just check out Duncar.com. To silence David, Steve offered 40 grand, but when he got back home, his wife was waiting at his desk, and Emily cut to the chase. Why is your key on my keychain?